So database are useful in many scenarios for storing the data. First we have to store the data, then we have the manipulation. But the control is different. Which control we use? We use a picture box control. Why it is used? It is used to display the image. Where it will display? In a web form. If in particular interval I want to repeat a task, then we should go for which control? It is timer. User will give the input by anything, by using a keyboard or just selecting the text. Hello everyone, myself Evelyn Jacob, working as a faculty in BCA department, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. So today we are going to discuss the subject C# and .NET. So we are discussing in Unit 3. So what and all we discuss is, the very first topic is introduction. Then we have the window application. Then followed with the forms. So window forms, and these are all the controls to be followed. So the very first topic is the combo box. It is also a control. Next is the horizontal and vertical scroll bar. Each one will be discussing what it is and the syntax to be used. Then the numeric up and down, track bar, progress bar. These are available when we install a Visual Studio. Next, what is the difference between the subroutines and functions? We already know what is function. Then what is this word subroutine? Then we have the database application. You already have a subject DBMS. The almost concept is same here also. So very first topic is building Windows application. So we know what is an application. Then what is a Windows application? So what is the procedure for it? I've already told we have to open Visual Studio. If I want to open a Visual Studio, then what should I do? I should install the Visual Studio. Then where should I go? I should go to File, New. We are familiar with the File menu. Then we go to New. Then Project. The very first is we have to create a new project. If you already have, then we don't want to create a project. We'll go for Open Project. Then you have to select the language. Which language you are using? You want to use a C# or a Visual Basic. That is all available in a .NET. Then after which we have to give the project name. So what project we are doing? It is just a demo application or something regarding the project. We have to give the name. Why we have to give the name? By seeing the name of the project, we understand what is the project. Okay. After that, what we do? We click on OK. So this is the window application. So you can see many windows. What are these? Why it is used? So we see a very first is main window. This is a main window. We say a simple form. Okay. Next is the Solution Explorer. So what is Solution Explorer? It is used to navigate between the items. In the Solution Explorer, we find all the file names. See, this is the Solution Explorer. You can see all the files. If you have added a form, here you will get form 1. Suppose you have changed the form 1 to something like test. Here you get the test. Then it is the properties window. What do you mean by property? Property is nothing but you gonna give the description. If I see a person, we say what is its height, what is the weight. So height and weight is nothing but a property. So where this property window is available? Here. This we say as properties. So not only height, you have other properties. You can change the color. If I want, I can change the color to pink. So many properties are there. Depending on the control, you should know what property should I change. Next is the controls. See, where the controls is available in your toolbox. If you want to look at the toolbox, in the previous slide, here you have the toolbox. What is toolbox here? As the name it will tell, tools. According to this application, tools means controls. See, I want to enter some name. So what control should I use? Text box. I want to submit some application and afterwards I click on submit. What is submit? Button. So all the tools starting from a text box, label, button, combo box, many controls are there. We'll discuss some of the controls here. So very first control is timer. So what is timer? See, timer control is a looping control. What is loop? When we use loop actually, we use loop when I wanted to have repeated task. See, first time if I add a plus b, no need of loop. If I want to continue more than once, then I'll go for a loop. That is the timer control? No. Actually, what is timer control? It is used to repeat any task with given interval. This is timer control. If in particular interval I want to repeat a task, then we should go for which control? It is timer. So for that we have to enable the timer. Then it starts when the start method of the timer is called. If I want to start something, then this method should be called. Which method? Start method. Then it will repeat. What it will repeat? The task continuously. So this is the timer. You can say start and stop. Whenever I just use a timer control in particular form, this can be viewed in particular form. Next is picture box. So what is picture actually? Other word of the picture, you can say it as image. Okay. See, image we already know. We are very familiar to change our image in a WhatsApp or anything. So what we do, sometimes our image will be in a camera or we can go for a download. Same concept, but the control is different. Which control we use? We use a picture box control. Why it is used? It is used to display the image. Where it will display? In a form. So it has an image property that allows the user. You can change the image in 2 times. One, in design time. In design time, I can have an image of the scenery. If the user will enter the start button or any button, I want to change the image, then in your code, you can change the image. That is which image? It is picture box. So in the picture box, we know that it will display image. What type of images are there? You can have any image. When you download the image, you just notice the extension. It can be JPG, GIF or PNG. Any extension can be. If you're very familiar with the animated image, you can go for GIF. Okay, it is graphic interchange format. Then JPG is a very commonly used image, that is static image, and the full form is Joint Photographic Expert Group. Then we go for another control, that is combo box. See, what is combo box? If I want to enter a name, I just go for a text box. Okay, I will enter my name. If suppose I want to select the country where I'm staying, say India. See, everybody liking to enter their country in the text box. They want something to be dropped down. See, this is a drop down. You can see you select some country and then it will be displayed. See, here you have an example of trousers, t-shirts, jackets, jeans. Whichever you want, you select and that particular will be displayed. So you can see it is a combination of the text box and the drop down. See, drop down is, it will drop you down. That is combo box. Display a drop down list of various items. If particularly you are displaying some of the items, more than one item, then go for combo box. So I've already told it is a combination of text box and also the drop down list. So what is the example? for a combo box. Online shopping cart. We are very familiar with this. And the course selection. For a particular course, I want to select which course I like. Then it will be dropped down. Particular course I can select. Next, group box. The name itself says group. Means I'm grouping many controls inside my group box. So group box is a container. It's a container which contain multiple controls. Till now we have saw timer control and previously picture box. But now I'll group any controls. Whatever control you have seen in the toolbox will group. So in other words, what is the other definition for group box? It is a frame. A frame that display around a group of controls. Okay. With suitable option title. You can give a title for a group box. So how it is used? See here, it is this title. What title we have given? We have given the course list. And what are this control? It is nothing but radio button. So we are grouping all the radio button into this group box. So these are the courses available. We are discussing with BCA. So we select BCA. This is enabled, right? And we click on submit. So we have a message, the selected BCA course. Next is scroll bar. We are also familiar with the scroll bar. If the content is more, you get a scroll bar. You just scroll and see the next content. So here also same concept, but what are other scroll bars? So you have types of scroll bar is vertical and horizontal. We all know what is vertical and what is horizontal and how to use. We know scroll bar is used to create and display the vertical and horizontal. When it is used when you have a large information. For 2 to 3 lines, no scroll bar will be available, right? So we can see information directly. So whenever the content is large, we will go for a scroll bar. So what are the scroll bars we discussed? That is horizontal scroll bar and vertical scroll bar. So if it is H, then it's horizontal. If it is V, it is vertical. So if I say H scroll bar, it is used for displaying this horizontal scroll bar, and V scroll bar, it is used to display vertical scroll bar. So where it is available? Again same. It is available in a toolbox. So you can see this is H scroll bar. How to use the scroll bar in a form? We just click on it and drag, and then we get this horizontal scroll bar. Horizontal is this and vertical is something like this. When we add this, you get immediately this type of control. Then numeric up down, as the name itself tells, it is up down. What we are doing up down with this numeric? What are numeric? Any numbers other than alphabets. So what this numeric up down will do? It looks like a combination. Again, this is a combination. What combination? It is a combination of a text box and a pair of arrows. You will be given a text box with the arrows. What this arrows will say? It will up, down. If I up, it will increase. Down, the other one will do. So example, so 23. If I want to go to the next, I'll click on this arrow. Previous is this arrow. So this is nothing but it is numeric up down. Next, we are all familiar with the progress bar. When it is used, when we are trying to download a file, a large file, we wanted to know how much percentage is there. So how much percentage is to be downloaded. So you can indicate with this progress bar. So we'll see, oh, it takes lot of time. It is only half of it is download. Or suppose if you are going for an installation, again the same setup is there. The progress will be seen. It is installed or it is going to install for some more time. That is progress bar. It's typically used when application perform the task. What task? It is nothing but copying the files, printing the documents. When you have many documents, This progress will help you. Next is track. What is track bar? Track bar is also called as slider. You can see the slider. If you're very familiar with this phone, you have a track bar. See, I want to increase my brightness of my mobile phone. What I do, the slider, I just scroll it up and down. So, increase and decrease will happen. The same example works here, track bar. It is used to navigate through a large amount of information. By navigating, by just pulling it, I can navigate the information. So again, this has two parts, that is the thumb is also known as slider. So we can also call it as slider, and this is the example. So when I increase or decrease, I can see some variation. So what is the example? We already know that phone brightness and the YouTube video. See, when I'm seeing a video in a YouTube, so what I do, if I want to go to the end or the middle, I just navigate through my track bar, or we can say it as a slider. Next. So we already know function. What is a function will do? It performs some task. To perform some task, I have to write the code. Then what is this word subroutine? So what is the difference between the subroutine and the function? See, we also know that we divide our code into procedure to make the project modular one. We don't write all lines of code in one stretch. We'll divide into procedures, so that when I see that procedure, I can know what implementation is done, how many lines of code is there. So whenever the procedure is called, after it finishes the execution, it returns to the statement where it is called. See, I'll call a add function. So add function will be called and it will execute. Then it will return to the statement where in which line of the code I called, it will return to that. So if I say a procedure, so procedure can be divided into subroutine and a function. Now the difference comes. What is a subroutine? So subroutine does not return value. If I want to use a subroutine, then I should not return a value. If I want to return a value, then I should go to function. If suppose a plus b, say 5 plus 6 is 11, I can't return 11 if I'm using subroutine. I can return 11 if I'm using function. So the definition of function. The function is a group of VB.NET statements. If it is VB.NET, it is VB.NET statement. If it is C#, it is C# statement. So if I want to write a function, then I will use the function keyword and end with end function. We know that in C# we use flower brackets. But in VB.NET, no flower brackets. We use the keyword end. So again, why function is used? Function will used to perform a task, and it should also return a value back, where it will return to the calling code. If I'm writing the code in the third line and calling that add, after executing, it will go back to the third line of the code. Subroutines also perform action, and same thing as function also will do, but you should remember it will not return any result. So what are the functions? What are the types of the functions? It is user defined and it is built-in function. Built-in function is already defined, we just call the function. User defined function, we have to write the code so that we can implement it, right? What is the syntax of that function? First we'll write the modifier. What is modifier? Any access modifier. It can be private, public, right? Next, function. This is the keyword indicating that it is a function. Next, it's the function name. Suppose I say add. These are the parameters. What is the other term for parameters? It is arguments. Next, we say as return type. Because it is VB.NET, we use this keyword. Then these are the code. If I want to write some code, I will write inside this, and last it will be end the function. Instead of closing the flower bracket, we use the word end. Now we'll go for a built-in function. So Visual Basic will provide a various built-in function. Why built-in function is used? For us to utilize that function so we can do some task, right? And carry out the mathematical operation. Even for mathematical operation also you have built-in function, say square root, round off, that are all mathematical function. You no need to write code for everything, just call the function whenever you need. For that what we call it as built-in function. So we'll discuss some of the built-in function. The very first is message box. As the name itself tell, it is message box. What message? Okay, it displays the message in a pop-up message box. Immediately a small pop-up will open and it will display the message what we have given. So the user is expected to respond by clicking a button. Whenever the pop-up will come, the user will respond. How? By clicking the button. Say it is OK button, we click on OK. So how will we write this message box? What is the syntax? See, message box, this is the prompt of it and the value. And if you want, you can give any title for the message box. That will have a return value. Why? This is built-in function. Next, input box. See, message box will display the message. What is input box? Will help you to give input. Means user will give the input by anything. Input box also displays a pop-up where user can type a message. If you want to type a message, go for input box. If you want to display a message, go for a message box. The user is expected to enter the message. He have to enter the message and then he should click on either cancel or OK. If your input is correct, click OK. No, stop, go for a cancel. Again the same syntax. What is the difference? There message box will come, here input box. Okay. And this is the same, prompt is there, title and the default text, what text you want to give. And we also give the position where exactly your input box should appear. That is the X position, X axis, as well as Y position, that is Y axis. Next, one more function is there, format. See, whenever we use a Word document or whatever it is, we just go for a formatting such that when we print the document, the alignment should be correct. But what is this? This is not formatting the text, we format the numbers. What this function will do is, it allows you to specify the precisely how numerical values are displayed. Suppose there is a number like float. I want to format it. So that time I can use what? Formatting numbers. So what is the syntax? We say format and this is the end value, what value you give, that is number, and the style argument. So now we'll go for a database application. So what is database? We say it's a collection of related data. Then what are the database applications here? So database systems are designed to many larger bodies of information. So if you have a very huge information, say in a college you have student information or in a company you have employee information, then we go for a database. Then we have to manage the data. How we'll manage the data? First we define the structure for the storage information. Suppose a name. How many characters is there? So maximum will give. So that is the structure of the information, how much storage it requires. So database are useful in many scenarios for storing the data. First we have to store the data, then we have the manipulation. So updation, accessing, that is all done in database. So for example, where we store the database, we already discussed. For a student in their school, if you want, you can store their grade. So grade or CGPA for y'all. Then you can store the custom record or any doctor's information, patient information, that all can be stored in the database. So If I say other application, that can be social media site. We are all familiar with the social media. So very first step we do is, first suppose I want to open a Gmail account, what I have to do first? I have to fill the information. I have to register. So that details what we do will be stored in where? In database. So you can say it is sign up. Where we sign up? On social websites. The very common example is Facebook, Pinterest. Then even you can go for a Instagram also. Next, where the database is used? Finance. It's very important. Where in the finance? So, storing the sales. Especially in the marketing, we store the sales. We hold the information and the finance statement. This is very important. This all can be done in database. Only so much? No, you have other applications also in the military. In the military where you can store the information about the soldiers. So DBMS is playing a vital role. So military keeps the records of the soldier and so many files have to be secured. So security is important in military where the database it will be stored so that authorized person only can access the database. And this is also familiar from the COVID, that is online shopping. We are very fond of doing online shopping, and this also has to be taken in the database. So, we do shopping with the help of the DBMS. What is DBMS? Database Management System. So, how will we use database? The very first shopping what we do, we'll add the products. And there, what all the products are sold, when they store in the database, they can understand the scenario of it. Okay? Like purchase information is there and bills and what are the payments, what are the mode of payment, it is credit card, Google Pay, all such things is maintained in the database. Next is banking. So banking is one of the main application. So when I say application of the DBMS, this should be the first one, banking. So banking, you all know all daily transaction will take place. Numerous transaction has to take place. So we say 1,000 transaction is taking place in the banking sector. And this is all possible just because DBMS manages all the bank transaction. So another application is also there, that is manufacturing. Manufacturing will makes the products and sell them on a daily basis. We have to keep the records of what and all product has been sold. So this is in manufacturing. Then airline reservation system. When I say airline, we just think of a flight. When the flight has been arrived and why it is delayed, that is all been used in a database. So just like a railway reservation, we also have a airline reservation where it keeps the records of the flight's arrival, departure and also delay. Usually we'll have a message of a delay sometimes due to climatic condition or other condition. That message will also be stored in a database. Next, if you are in a college, you are familiar with the library management system. So before you have very less books, you used to go and take the book and go to the library and get the signature and all these things would happen. But when you have more books, like thousands of books, what happens? Every book, whether you have borrowed or not borrowed, will be in the database. So how many books are pending? How many books have to become? That is all in our DBMS. So nowadays, it's become easy in the library to track each book. Why? Because of the database. So manual is not there, everything you can see in a software. So it is, I already told, it is not a matter of 100 or 200 books, it is 1,000, 10,000. It depends on your college or anywhere else. So DBMS will maintain the information related to a book issue. A librarian is responsible to issue a book and what are the dates, what are the issue dates, name of the book, author and how many books are available. That is all is maintained in the library management system. Whenever we have seen the application of the database, now it's a question, why database is required? When so many applications is there with DBMS, then database is required, right? Why it is required? So if database is in the middle, so you can see all the blocks here. It will say accurate. What is accurate? Accurate means correct. Once if you enter some data, enter some record, we believe that it is correct and we have to make it accurate also. Easy to update data. See, we are already familiar with the DBMS. You already have worked with the queries in your DBMS lab. You know how to update the data. You have queries to update. Okay. So we say easy to update data. Security. The security is very important in some of the application like banking and military, because nobody can see every data. So what we do is we have to provide the security. Next, data integrity. This is also important in database. Next, easy to research the data. Whenever you want to see some data, it is easy. You can search also, you can research the data also. So very first point is why database is required is it will manage large amount of data. Because of that only we are using the database. So this completes the first session of the unit 3, and next we'll go to the next session of the unit 3. Until then, take care. Thank you.